A shooting at an Oklahoma City business leaving one dead. We have the latest, and the RSV epidemic continues. Stay tuned to hear what some doctors have to say about the virus. And a plane crash in Oklahoma City this morning leading to an investigation of the deadly crash. This is OU Nightly. Thanks for watching OU Nightly. I'm Jayden Brannon.
And I'm Summer Miller. We begin tonight with breaking news. The Oklahoma City Police Department is responding to a deadly shooting on the city's northwest side.
The shooting happened at a business just north of Northwest 150th Street near North May Avenue. Authorities say the alleged shooter is dead and a victim suffered non-life-threatening injuries. The story is still developing and we will keep you updated.
The future of the OTA Turnpike expansion will be decided by Oklahoma Supreme Court. OU Nightly's Dana Searles is live with more. Dana?
The Oklahoma Turnpike authorities plan for their expanded turnpike had oral arguments heard today at the Supreme Court of Oklahoma. I spoke with people from Pike Off OTA who are against this expansion to hear their thoughts on the hearings today. The future of the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority's turnpike expansion plan is in the hands of the Supreme Court.
This was a great opportunity for us. We take it as a positive that they see and take the case seriously enough to have done it, and we feel like we did well today.
OTA is requesting permission from the court to issue $500 million in bonds to help fund the project. The state's high court heard arguments about the controversial issue earlier today.
I think all Oklahomans need to know that the Oklahoma Turnpike Authority can right now build wherever, whenever, and whatever they want, no matter if the road is actually justified.
Yeah, we firmly believe and have hopefully convinced the court that all three of these new turnpikes in Access Oklahoma are legally unauthorized. And hopefully that is the ruling we will get out of the court.
The ruling also considered the rest of the Access Oklahoma plan.
I was very encouraged by the questions by the justices and how that they were wanting to look at the text and that they were wanting to look at the text and make sure that the law is followed. And that's really all that the landowners wanted. It was for the law to be followed.
This plan would reconstruct and widen more than 100 miles while adding 53 miles of new routes by 2037, costing $5 billion.
To see the community come together and pool their resources to hire lawyers to show up at court and make sure that the law is followed, that is designed to protect them, is very encouraging. And I think the lawyers that showed up today on behalf of Pike Off OTA they did an excellent job.
I do believe they have the right to take anyone's house. So our struggle is for everyone, and I really hope that people recognize that.
Pike Off OTA says they will now focus their efforts towards the district hearings while they await the Supreme Court ruling. Reporting live, Dana Searles, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Dana. The chief medical advisor to the president, Dr. Anthony Fauci, warns of a rising health emergency in the country. Romelo Woodfork is live in the newsroom with more.
In parts of the country, hospitals are nearing capacity for patients with RSV. Recently, Oklahoma lost a 13-year-old from El Reno to the disease, but there's a trifecta of respiratory viruses going around: RSV, COVID, and the flu. Other countries have seen this peak of tridemic. Some doctors are calling it. But the good news, the number of cases are coming down.
We're hoping that that's going to happen because both flu and RSV have come to us earlier than it usually does.
Now there are vaccines for COVID, the COVID and the flu. Scientists are working on an RSV vaccine now.
Thanks, Romelo. And it was so nice getting to see the sun again here in Norman, but I heard that may not be the case for other areas in the region.
Let's check in with OU Nightly meteorologist Jenna Warner to see if we should be expecting any weather changes here. Jenna?
Thank you, ladies. Well, talking about a different neck of the woods. So we're talking about tomorrow. There is a severe weather risk, a 4 out of 5 on the risk scale. Tomorrow evening in the Mississippi Delta region. Now, this doesn't have any impact on us, but it is good to check in with the difference between a watch and a warning. A tornado warning means there's a tornado on the ground or radar indicated. A tornado watch means you have time to plan, prepare, as the conditions are ripe for tornado later in the day. Coming up, we'll be talking about cold front, wind chill on Wednesday, and we do have rain on the way. Back to you, ladies.
Thanks, Jenna. Norman Public School Board will vote on a bond package to put to vote in February 2023. OU Nightly's Amaya Ward is live with the details. Amaya?
Jayden, Summer, the Norman Public School Board is considering a list of projects for a potential bond that is more than $349 million. The board will meet tonight at 6 p.m. to decide whether to approve the bond issue for vote. The bond package includes an aviation academy, a new performing arts auditorium, and a stadium expansion upgrades at Norman High and Norman North High School. The price tag for the stadium expansion project will cost around $24 million. Additionally, the district is planning on upgrading 17 middle schools and elementary schools, and 4 middle schools. Superintendent Nick Miglerino will present the recommended board project at tonight's special meeting. Reporting live in Norman, Amaya Ward, OU Nightly.
Thanks, Amaya. And for the first time in decades, protesters in China are fighting back against the central government's COVID-19 protocols. Carolynn Felling has that in the rest of today's international headlines from the News Center.
After 3 years of COVID-19 lockdowns and testing, citizens in China are done with the rules. Protesters chant for freedom, democracy, and an end to COVID lockdowns. Some residents even hoping for China's president and Communist Party to step down. On Sunday night, police made multiple arrests, including an BBC journalist who was later released. Today in Buffalo, New York, a shooter pleads guilty to murder and domestic terrorism. 19-year-old Peyton Gendron was accused of killing 10 people and injuring more than a dozen at a grocery store in May. Investigators believe Gendron targeted his victims based on their race. He did not, however, plead guilty to several counts of federal hate crime charges. And in Hawaii, after 38 years of silence, the world's largest active volcano began to erupt on Sunday. This activity is disrupting flights with an all-hands emergency response. Right now, there are no mandatory evacuations in place. Shelters are opening to accommodate those opting to leave voluntarily. And today on the campus of the University of Idaho, students returned to class 2 weeks after 4 students were murdered. The university is giving students the option for their academic work after the holiday. Right now, there are still no suspects in the case. Summer?
Thanks, Carolyn. The Oklahoma Highway Patrol responded to a plane crash this morning at an airport in Ellis County. The crash happened at Gage Airport shortly after 8 a.m. Ellis County Sheriff's Office and OHP report 2 people have died as a result of the crash. The victims have been identified as James Bruce of Shattuck, Oklahoma, and David Dodd of Austin, Texas. Authorities say the Federal Aviation Administration will investigate what led to this deadly crash.
And holiday shopping is here, but you may want to double check any cash that you plan to use.
Stick around to see what authorities are saying about found funny money.
And if you're looking to grab those Cyber Monday deals, you'll want to keep your personal information safe.
Ahead, we'll have more on how to stay safe when online shopping this season.
Warning people tonight about the scams that come with paying in cash. Olivia Dague has that story and more in Money Matters.
That's right, Jayden. As you're making purchases this holiday season, be on the lookout for counterfeit money. Yukon police have had 2 instances of fake cash. These $100 bills you see on your screen right now have the words motion picture use only on them, meant as props. The other case had a set of waxy $20 bills, all with the same serial numbers. And to those who traveled this Thanksgiving, those lines might have felt like they were before the pandemic. TSA said they hit pre-pandemic records this past week. 2.5 million people went through security yesterday. Almost the same amount of people traveled on the Wednesday before Thanksgiving. And a woman in Florida is suing Kraft Heinz for $5 million over mac and cheese. The woman is suing for false advertising, saying it takes longer to cook than 3 minutes if you include the prep time.
Thanks, Olivia. It's online shopping's busiest day of the year, and many are getting a head start to their holiday shopping. Coming up, learn how you can secure those online deals while keeping your information safe.
Now let's hop on over to Jenna Warner about what temperatures we can expect here in Norman. Jenna?
That's right. So right now we do have some cloud cover in the way over campus. It's currently 64 degrees. I'll have more coming up next as we continue to talk about that cold front. Welcome back to OU Nightly. It is kind of cloudy out there. We did see the sun at points today, but right now it's 64 degrees and it is blustery. You walk outside, that wind is going to hit you, but we're used to it. This is Oklahoma. Current temperatures across the state, it's 61 right now, 62 in OKC, 59 up in Enid. We got some colder pockets up in northwestern Oklahoma, and it is blustery across the state. It's gusting at about 11 miles per hour right now in Norman, 11 up in Enid too, bit gustier as we head out west. Overall, it's gusty, and that's not going to change. We'll have more on that in a second. Looking at your temperature outlook, so this weekend going into next week, we're going to be above average for this time of year. That's what these red shades mean, above average. The blue shades do mean below average, so northern parts of the U.S. are going to be colder next week. Tonight in Norman, we'll get down to about 47 degrees, and we'll have some partly cloudy skies. That wind is going to stick around, and it'll be in the mid-40s across much of Oklahoma. Highs tomorrow, you'll notice we have a cold front creeping through the state that'll swing through in the afternoon. We'll get to that timing in a second, but 67 for a high. In Norman, it'll be a nice day tomorrow. Although we do have that evening cold front coming through, let's track that out. So this is looking tomorrow afternoon. It'll start to come through Norman in the evening, push through. If you'll notice, it's a dry cold front. We don't have to worry about any rain with this, but it will drastically drop temperatures. Wednesday morning will be about 26 degrees, but with the wind chill, we'll have winds gusting from the northwest, 35 to 45 miles per hour. So it'll be a cold morning. You'll want to bundle up. And we do have our precipitation outlook going into this weekend, coming into next week. And we will see some precipits. This is what we're talking about Saturday, Sunday, and Monday into next week. If we look at the chances, we have 20% Saturday, 40% Sunday, and 30% Monday. So there's some good chances as we head towards the end of the week. We do need rain in the state. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Jenna. Cyber Monday is here, and millions of shoppers are looking to secure deals for the holiday season. With so many turning to online stores, the risk for cyber attack is high. Oklahoma Homeland Security talked with me about how to enjoy those deals while keeping your information safe. This year, online Black Friday sales in the U.S. hit just over $9 billion. With many holiday shoppers turning to online purchases, cybersecurity is a big topic.
2021, approximately 250 million people suffered some kind of cyber attack through their devices or through some kind of email or smishing attack.
In addition to changing your passwords often, watching where you click is also important for data protection.
Don't click on attachments or things that are unknown to you that come to you either through your email or through your cell phones.
And when it comes to paying for those items in your cart,
probably best to use a credit card rather than using a debit card when you're making online purchases.
Scott says, bottom line, being aware while shopping online can keep your information safe.
Just make sure you're logging into the appropriate websites because there's potentially somebody out there that's looking for your data.
More tips on cyber safety can be found through oklahoma.gov. It was a good weekend to be supporting OU men's basketball. Heard they made it home with some new hardware.
Let's check in with OU Nightly Sports' Dylan Rivera with more on the team. Dylan?
Not only the trophy, but it's been 6 straight for OU men's basketball, and Porter Moser's squad is rolling. Find out why win number 6 of that streak was a big one. But for OU football, 6 wins is all they could manage. We have a deep dive into Saturday's regular season finale. Oklahoma dodged the tortillas in Lubbock, but couldn't dodge another loss. Hello and welcome into OU Nightly Sports. I'm Dylan Rivera. OU Nightly's Parker Abels and Hallie Moss have the recap of Saturday's high-scoring overtime affair.
A tightly contested matchup here at Jones AT&T Stadium ultimately ends with the Sooners falling to the Texas Tech Red Raiders 51-48 in overtime.
The Sooners started off strong with a 24-6 lead until Texas Tech rattled off 24 unanswered points, and from there it was back and forth, ending with a 35-yard field goal in overtime by the Raiders.
Here's what Brent Venables had to say about the loss.
Look at it on defense. I know the offense scored. I think they had a one play, 77-yard drive, and then we had an interception. We had a punt, and we punted before the touchdown. So we picked a bad time not to compliment one another. First quarter plus was excellent, and the wheels fell off.
Despite the loss, Oklahoma wide receivers were showing out here in Lubbock. Offensive coordinator Jeff Levy talks about why the deep ball was so effective.
I think as much or more than anything, our guys made plays. And we did a good job winning one-on-ones most of the night. Needed a couple more to play well enough to win.
Now the Sooners just have to wait till Sunday to see what bowl game they end up in.
Reporting from Jones AT&T Stadium alongside Parker Abels, I'm Hallie Moss, OU Nightly.
Speaking of wide receiver performances, Theo Weiss had an outstanding game, 123 yards and a touchdown against the Red Raiders. But the bad news continues for Oklahoma. According to Mike Roach of 247 Sports, today Weiss has entered his name into the transfer portal. Weiss finished the season with 19 catches, 378 yards, and 4 touchdowns. It hasn't been all bad for OU football these past couple of days. Quarterback Dylan Gabriel claimed both Big 12 Co-Offensive Player of the Week and Big 12 Co-Newcomer of the Week for his 449-yard, 6-touchdown performance. Last season, Porter Moser's basketball squad fell 3 points short of an early season tournament win. This year, OU closed the deal. In the final round of the ESPN Invitational, Oklahoma was matched up with the Ole Miss Rebels. Down 3 with just over 4 minutes remaining, the Sooners went on a 7-0 run to finish off the tournament with a 59-55 win. OU guard Grant Sherfield was named tournament MVP. The Oklahoma City Thunder and the Shea Gilgeous-Alexander Express roll into the French Quarter tonight for a game against the Pelicans. SGA is averaging an unreal 31 points a game, but the Pelicans boast one of the league's better defenses so far this season. Tip time is set for 7 p.m. This one's for all the marbles. The U.S. men's national team takes on Iran in their final match of the group stage at 1 p.m. Tuesday. If the U.S. wins, they're in. A draw or a loss results in elimination. In both 2010 and 2014, the U.S. moved into the round of 16, and they're certainly hoping for the same magic tomorrow afternoon. I know I'll be watching and certainly reminding viewers around the world it's called soccer. Jayden and Summer, back to you.
Thanks, Dylan. And I know nobody's probably counting, but there's only 28 more days until Christmas morning.
And one landmark is overflowing with Christmas spirit. Stick around to see how it was turned into a winter wonderland.
From the OU Nightly Update Desk, I'm Corey Taylor. The Oklahoma State Highway Patrol is investigating a deadly crash that happened this weekend in Norman. OHP says a teenager was killed and 2 others injured while traveling northbound on I-35. The crash occurred near Flood Avenue Saturday night around 11 p.m. An 18-year-old passenger was killed. The driver and another passenger remain in critical condition at a local hospital. Summer, Jayden.
Thanks, Coy. Christmas is just around the corner and people are starting to get into the holiday spirit, including the President and First Lady.
The theme for this year's White House Christmas decorations is We the People.
More than 150 volunteers helped deck the halls of the White House.
The house is decorated with a 19-foot tall Christmas tree and 83,000 lights.
Seeing those decorations really gets me into the holiday spirit. As we get closer to the holidays, could cooler temperatures be on the way?
Let's head over to Jenna for one last check of the weather. Jenna?
Well, actually, I thought it would be cool since we're in the holiday spirit to look where there's snow cover currently in the U.S. Now, of course, there's not any snow cover close to us. Closest would be out in New Mexico. And it has been about 2 weeks since we saw our first snowfall. So usually Norman and the Oklahoma City Metro sees their first snowfall around December 17th. We were much earlier than that. If you recall, 2 weeks ago, we saw our first snowfall here in Norman. So it is starting to feel like the holidays. Back to you, ladies.
Thank you for joining us Monday evenings this semester.
Be sure to tune in the rest of the week live at 4:30. Good night.